Joyride 1957, Chapter 8. James rolled down U.S. Highway 1 in the governor's plush convertible as the sun gradually moved toward the horizon. He had lost his sunglasses in the moose encounter and pulled down the Lincoln's visor to protect him from the glare. At times he was blinded and was sure he would run into a moose or some wayward Bambi, but thankfully he did not. He saw a sign that read New Haven, 22 miles. He had planned to stay there and visit Yale University the next morning. His father, James I, was a graduate of Yale. James knew of some of the professors and wanted to pick one of their brains if he could locate him. Then he would check on a few other things in the university library. Things were not going as planned for James on this tour, but he had picked up a few tidbits of information, and he was determined to act on them. The other force driving him was the sense that he was being followed. The beautiful blonde that he was already fantasizing about, and maybe the guy in the black suit. And there was the guy at the Newport Tower. Why would they follow him? He also wondered if someone had taken a shot at him. His ear still had a scab on it, but didn't hurt anymore. His ribs were a different story. He had found no hard evidence that someone had taken a shot at him and felt likely that he wouldn't find any. After some 20 minutes, he spotted a Holiday Inn sign and then pulled into the lot. He grabbed his bag, walked into the lobby, set his bag down beside him, and asked if there were any rooms available. "Yes, sir, I have just a couple left. Will smoking do? I have a king room or 2 queens." "Fine, give me the king. Any food in this place?" He was famished. "Sorry, sir, but there is a full-service breakfast beginning at 6 a.m., the hotel clerk said. "Or we have room service beginning at 5:30. "I'll come down in the morning." "That'll be $39 plus tax," the clerk said. James pulled out a couple of $20 bills and then a 1. He handed them to the clerk. "I'll need 17 more cents," the clerk said. James dug around and found a dime, a nickel, and 2 pennies. He set them on the table. "Now just sign here." James did so. His signature was illegible, but the clerk said nothing. "Here's your key, sir. Room 117, just down the building to your right." James took the key, grabbed his bag, and headed for room 117. As he walked toward his room, he saw a big cream-colored Pontiac drive up to the lobby. He thought he saw blonde hair, but couldn't be sure and was too tired to investigate further. He stripped to his boxers and plopped on the king-size bed. One picture on the wall was of Yale University. The one above his bed was of a sailboat near a beautiful island. He wasn't sure where. What he did know was that he never wanted to set foot on an island again. Early settlers to the island related that one of the crew of Captain Kidd, who died in 1701, told of a treasure worth £2 million buried on Oak Island. James read. James turned a few pages in his father's diary, a book he had essentially memorized. I joined the old gold salvage group. One of its members was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I even met him once. Our group cleared out the so-called money pit. Had a hole 34 meters deep. I and some others dove to the bottom but found nothing. Nada. James turned a few more pages and continued reading. I returned to Halifax in 1917. I was now a full professor of archaeology at Yale. I was going to review information at University of King's College in Halifax and then lead an expedition of my students to Oak Island the next summer. I was staying with my professor friend, Professor Plum, near King's College when the blast hit. I had just awakened and looked at my alarm clock. I'll never forget what it read. 9:04. In an instant I was flat on my back on the wood floor. My professor friend had shot out into the hallway and the ceiling was still rocking when I finally got up and went to help him. We thought for sure it was a German bomb and headed for the basement. Soon we heard the wail of sirens and went up to view the disaster. The professor's Model T sat in the driveway, all 4 tires flat. The windshield was shattered. To this day, I'm sure that French ship with its 6 million pounds of TNT was sabotaged. At night, the submarine nets of Halifax harbor are raised. Also, there were so many German spies in Canada and the United States during the Great War that I expect one of them may have set things off. Regardless, I returned home and did lead a small expedition to the island that next summer, but it came to nothing. One gold coin that turned out to be Canadian and a couple of rocks with scratches on them. I think they are in the Yale Museum somewhere. James could no longer keep his eyes open and soon was dreaming of sailing with Captain Kidd on the high seas.